First of all, hold up. That's Muhammad Ali. Sorry, Muhammad Ali. I know you're the greatest of all time, but did you see those whistles? Hear them. That guy's face, even this guy's face, is like, isn't that the dude that wore like I think it is the guy who did the diving suit movie? Is that her singing, or is that her going like, oh my god, right? I think it's a jaw drop right there. Listen to this crazy nonsense. Nice. I like to makes it a good adult. You know, obviously whistles are like right? Obviously whistles are like that. Eyes whistles are like. So quick music theory lesson here. In counterpoint, which is just basically harmony that is achieved through melody. It's melody becoming harmony. There's some principles in counterpoint that define the movement of a given line. So because she knows this chord, because she's so damn good and knows the music, I mean, she has sung this exact tune a gajillion times. So what she's doing is called oblique motion. A high note is a sustained note from the previous chord into the current chord. So even though it's a repetition, and it might sound like it's a little bit out of the key or outside of the chord, it's the resolution that matters. Check this out. Brilliant. Brilliant. Right? So the thing too that's really important is that pitch is not necessarily absolute. Something called just tuning. And what that is that you move just a little bit with every different singer, and that little bit creates this massive sonorous sound. Whereas if you do that in what's called equal temperament, aka like a piano, the notes are just a little not perfect. They're not perfect intervals. Anytime you have like violin or voice, you can get this really cool, holy crud, sonorous harmonies. And so if you listen to the whistle again, she's adjusting the whistle on the second time and going even higher. And my reaction, and everyone's reaction, should be this lady right here. Now, listen to the next one. It's just going to be a couple cents higher. Very hard to hear, but it's there. Ooh. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, so why, you can hear she was definitely remembering the inspiration for this song. Karina Lambley, we miss you. Miss all your hard work here. The reason why I'm blown away is because you hear that rasp? She's in the middle of a belt. A belt is so hard. It's so precarious. You need very little air. Amazing posture. There is a theory that a belt is the thyroid cartilage moving backwards. And what that would do is it fattens the folds. And we know during a belt, the folds are fat. And you need to use very little air because otherwise they do this. I highly advise never doing that again with a wedding ring. Ouch. You're already in this point where you need very little air. And then when she does this grindy little thing, it's the false folds coming in. I'm going to, here, this is how hard this is. Okay, you ready? I want you to start singing and gradually go to hold your breath. Don't hold it immediately. Gradually go through that motion. That. Another way to do it too, but it's also very difficult. It's not what she's doing, but you can push your epiglottis back and the arytenoids, or no, this the vestibular starts vibrating against that, but she's not doing that. She's doing that, and it's very it's not easy to do at any range. And she's doing a belt while she's doing it. It's incredible. And mine sounds like hot garbage. Oh, oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. There, it's like Christmas. I could do a Christmas album for Mariah Carey on that alone. Apparently, she's drunk in this, which is kind of incredible. Might be happening actually is the vocal folds are really dry, so you get that raspy. That's a possibility as well. Who other than Mariah Carey can just like kill it while being drunk? This woman deserves applause. Fair. I cannot let go, even though I try. Ooh, the glottals there. The glottals. So what is a glottal? If you are holding your breath and then you start singing, it's a glottal. And what she's doing, and the reason why she has those glottals, is that she's doing a run, and each note is getting the note, an attack on it. It's the only way, doing a glottal is the only way you can get a strong attack on a vowel. What the fuck? That is on a different level. So, listen, okay, let's talk about what a whistle is, and then we're going to blow your mind as to how good she is, because you don't get it. You don't understand that is preposterous. So, huge asterisk here. We don't really know how a whistle works. We have an idea, we have a theory, but because the space in the throat is so tiny when there's a whistle, we can't put a scope down there to really understand the mechanics. But the idea is this. If your folds are together like that, and you create a small hole like that to get that fluty sound, the same you would, right? I'm really bad at it, can't do it. I'm not a good whistler. If you're doing that like that, that's how you're going to create a whistle. So why is it insane when she does vibrato on the whistle? Here's what vibrato is. You tilt that thyroid cartilage right here. The insertion for the vocal folds are connected to the thyroid cartilage. So when you tilt them like that, you're stretching out the fold. So not only is she doing this, she's doing this, and she's controlling it and keeping that opening extremely precise while the folds are stretching. And you have to understand, here's the other thing. The vocal folds for a female singer, estrogen-laden vocal folds, if we're gonna be woke about it, are the size of a dime. So she's taking a dime, stretching it out, and then putting a little in the dime. I mean, it's insane how much control you need to do that. The result is a whistle that has a little bit more warmth, because you tilt that thyroid cartilage, you're lowering the larynx. Right? Depth is added. Does it again, but now she does it with an airy tone because she wants me to feel bad about myself. And I do. My ego, we're still wrapped into this. I take my voice and I throw it in a bonfire because everything would be pointless and meaningless to me. Luckily, I feel good about myself. How am I singing? Continue. Oof. So Queen Lamley just put that little note in there saying it's beautiful. Cannot help but agree. Look at this. Oh. Okay. So hold on. First of all, commitment to the squat during that run, lipping or not, it's leg day for Mariah Carey here. Okay, so that is her quote-unquote prime, right? And she lips it. And the important thing to remember about this is that as you age, the voice grows larger. The larynx is kind of like the nose. It never really stops growing. And what's bonkers about this is that after you have kids, your voice also grows. So listen to how lovely, rich that sound is. That's something that I wish people understood. What's crazy with Mariah is that she doesn't transpose her tunes. She does the stuff that she did when her voice was much lighter, and she does it in the same key. I don't know if it's a pride thing. I don't know if it's like, I love the fans, I'm not going to change the key on them. But it's very difficult to do that. And so listen to the quality. And what I love is that you know it's live because she gets a little flat here, which is fine. But she corrects it. Idiot. That's just so good. What? How does she go even higher? And also listen to the timbre of the whistle. This is absurd. She, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, extended technique, whistle register, all of these silly things. They're vapid. They're not musical. And ordinarily, I'd agree. But listen to how beautiful the tone is. It's crazy. Oh, she's right on that key change, too. Listen, musician. Like, that's metal. That's like a metal, but it's like a whistle register because I'm... What the fuck? So what dictates volume? Let's talk about that. Okay, so the reason that's insane is how volume works. When you are singing, there are a couple of different ways to increase the volume. Generally speaking, the folds get a little bit thicker or a little bit more taut, or there's a little bit more thickness, like belt, the pulling, that's the thyroid cartilage tilt. It's actually quite difficult. You need less air to get louder because the folds are going to thicken a whole lot more. There's going to be a lot more breath pressure if you're not expanding the rib cage and making sure that your breath is very little. So, you know, it's already difficult enough to do a whistle, but then she has this dynamic range, which is insane. She knows how to whistle with the folds thick, and she knows how to whistle with the folds thin. It is insane. Okay, mic technique. Okay. So There's a couple different ways to hold a straight tone. That's not exactly, I wouldn't call that a belt necessarily, because it's lower in her range. And so what you can do instead of trying to belt something that's a little bit lower in your range is you can kind of it's just infinitesimal. You're just going to tighten the thyroid cartilage and the muscles associated with it a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, don't overdo it. Don't do it too much. Don't do it at the top of your range. I got to change this camera angle. Nice. What I love about it here, what's the matter, Anya? You love Mariah Carey? Love Mariah Carey? Okay. There you go. She hears those whistles and just has to. Oof. Things I really respect about Mariah Carey, she's really, really, really smart. What do I mean by smart? She is not holding out notes that aren't really, really precise. You hold out a note, you have to be comfortable, like really comfortable on that note. There's a big difference between if I hold that, I don't like that. I don't like holding that. It's got to be really, really on the money. So belts are hard, and doing high notes that are perfect throughout an entire concert, an entire tour, you're never going to be a perfect singer. That is a foolish thing to aspire for, which is why this video that Queen Lambley made is about ad-libs. And so what we're seeing here are brilliant ad-libs where she is adjusting on the fly because she is a smart singer who knows the things. What the fuck? So that is a perfect example of a note that you hold. It's beautiful. And then the way she adjusts it is crazy. When she goes up there, one of the things she's doing is she's actually doming the soft palate. This is a very common technique used by tenors in opera. It has a couple of things. One, it makes it a little easier to sing it. There's that, because what's happening is the soft palate just goes down a little bit, and so there's a little bit of nasal passage opening a little bit, and so the air goes out of the nostrils, and it's like a little bit of a release valve. The other thing is that it musically maintains the line. I don't do that. No, that note pops, right? It's no longer a smooth run. It's a da-da-da-boom, right? She's doing I know how to notes. I can't. I can't do runs the way she does it up there. Yeah, no, it's really smart it's musical. It's a musical decision. And then what the fuck? This is so dumb. It shouldn't be allowed. It's stupendous. Queen Lambley wrote here, the whistle is controlled, connected with a perfect amount of air to the tone ratio. Let me break that down because he, she, they, I don't know, but Queen Lambley, we miss you. What we have here is a preposterously difficult thing to do. Is singing in her full voice, which means there's connection. The folds are fully connected. So then she flips not into falsetto, but to whistle. So how does she do that? Because that change, you're going from this immediately to this, right? We talked about this earlier in the video, right? From this to this. What she does is she pops in falsetto, boom, that opens the folds. It's like a reset. And so then she gets to that quickly. It's really, really technical. And it's like instant. It's absurd. It's so fast. I mean, do you know, like, I don't know anyone else who can go, like, oh my God, I have a hard time doing Mozart. There's an aria that goes to a leap of a ninth, just like, oh my God, I have so much of a hard time doing the aria that goes from that register. In isolation, if I break it up. Like that stretching, like it's just not smooth. And so for her to do that like that, it's insane. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed. Singing is like an onion. There are layers, and she has all of them, and somehow is also a Vidalia onion, a sweet onion, a red onion, and also just a bit of garlic. And I like, you know what I mean? She's got it all. It's crazy. Okay, hold on. This is cool. I need to look at the actual performance. This is the SNL one. Listen to this inhale. Oops. Yeah, listen to the inhale that happens at the end here. Let's try to find that in the SNL version of it. Okay, she's doing exactly what I thought she was doing. Okay, so folds. There's a high notes take much less air. Whistle register stuff takes a preposterous amount of control over breath. What is support? Support is good posture. It's in this case like an expansion of the rib cage. It's a lot. There's and so this is well supported, right? Especially because high notes take less air. But then the inverse is true. Low notes take more air. So as she goes to this crazy high end, listen to how she goes back to go to the low end. That big inhale, that catch breath, that inhale, it takes more air. So how do the vocal folds work? Because that's important to understand this. Luckily, I have these this time. So here's how the vocal folds work. Here's how they come together. Watch these come together. Stop the auto pause here. Okay, what that is it's called the Bernoulli effect. When you do lower notes, you need fatter folds, which means you need more exhale so that the folds become thicker and come closer together. So that's why there's this, and a lot of voice teachers would immediately say, don't do that, right? Don't take a gas breath. But here it works because she's going from insane heights, just mad, and then going down into that low where she has to go thick on the folds. So props to her for being insanely good and smart about her technique. Take some notes real fast on this. Oops, that's the wrong video. So let's talk about that lovely little B4 here. Oh, that's a belt. That is a belt. She is belting. Before we said you can kind of trick people if you're holding your larynx a little bit when there's the thyroid cartilage tilt. Totally inefficient. There's not a terrible consequence because it's really low voice. But here, you can't do that. Here you have to belt. And so what is belting? Belting is one of two things. We're going to go with the general, the more widely accepted view of how belting works, even though, listen, the argument between voice teachers is real. There's a battle. There's a war. But let's just go with what's called the cricoid cartilage tilt. The idea being is that this is the cricoid cartilage at the base of the larynx, and it tilts backwards, which would make the vocal folds more thick. So it's very difficult to go from belting into a thyroid cartilage tilt. It takes a lot of knowledge. The coordination is completely different. So she's going into a belt, then gradually going away from that belt into a more classical, traditional thyroid tilt kind of tone. It's just brilliant, and it's seamless. It's seamless. So in the span of like a silly amount of time, right? And that time span, like, holy crap. We get full voice to a really super fast transition, falsetto boom, whistle, right? Drops out of whistle. She takes a really big inhale so that she could go for this low note. And then as she goes up, she dumps the air because higher notes take less air. Belting is precarious and can cause a lot of injury if done with a lot of air. Right here. That's just a whole lot of, there's a whole lot going on there. Whole lot going on. He's on the 7th chord.
No, I'm horrible. I only play enough to write sound.
So that to me shows she understands a little bit of theory here. That's fun. So there is a fun thing you can do with delays. You can go in canon with yourself. So like when you go, the way that the delay is set, maybe it's the speakers, maybe it's a delay effect, but the way that it follows is actually in time, and it's outlining different harmonies. It's really cool because the same notes are playing at different times during a different chord. Yo, I'm calling my voice teacher. I want my money back because I can't do that, and I'm salty about it. Mina Lambley, miss you. Come back when you can. Hope everything's going well for you. Thank you.